Welcome, Greg, to the podcast. And let me ask you my first question. What are the core services offered by Brighter Days Window Cleaning to its clients?
Well, we've been in business since 2008, so we're in our 11th year of business, and we do window cleaning for commercial and residential. We do power washing as well as screen repair.
How many jobs does Brighter Days Window Cleaning do on average per week?
Typically about 40 to 50, depending on the size.
Do you operate 52 weeks a year?
Yeah. Of course, I have employees, so I do take vacations.
Okay, so we'll be talking about a big game changer, a specific action you implemented in your business that made a hell of a change in your growth. So tell us in general, what is that hell of a change?
Well, I think that, who you hire and who you have working for you is extremely important because in my belief, companies are made out of people, not just processes and procedures. So I try to surround myself with the best people possible to help my business grow and flourish.
Okay, so what does that mean in terms of a specific action you took in regards to your hiring policy that made a hell of a difference in your business?
I began to shift what I was looking for, whereas at first I was looking for people with experience. It seems obvious, but what I found is I wasn't always hitting the goals that I wanted to hit. So what I started doing was started hiring the right people by looking at their character and looking at their integrity, hiring somebody based on that, more from a recruiting standpoint than, say, putting an ad on Craigslist. So I'm specifically going after individuals that I think would benefit from being a part of Brighter Days, and that the Brighter Days would also benefit with them being a part of it.
Now, from what I understand, people who clean windows have to enter people's homes, and that involves trust. So how do you screen your hirees to make sure they're trustworthy?
Well, the people that work for me right now, I've known, and I've developed relationships with outside of Brighter Days, and I've watched them, I've talked to them, I see how they operate in day-to-day life because I have a saying that I go by that how you do some things is how you do all things. So if somebody is on time to places they go, they do what they say they're going to do, they're consistent in their actions and emotional states and things of that nature, then I can expect that they're going to continue being that way if I've seen them, be that way for a period of time.
So here we're talking about people's character. What is the most important trait of character you consider when hiring someone?
Well, I'm looking for people that exhibit, and these are not always necessarily tangible terms, but, joy in their lives. People that, are in a good mood, that have a good sense of humor, that are obviously trustworthy, and like I said, do what they say they're going to do. I watch people's feet. I don't listen to their words as much, so to see where they're going and what they're doing. That's the character traits that I'm really looking for. Is at the top, integrity, for sure.
Did you fine-tune your hiring policy based on failed experiences, people that didn't cut it?
I did, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to continually, make adjustments as you go in anything in order to really hit your target. And so, like I said, I began hiring people with just based off of experience. I maybe didn't even know them that well before I gave them the opportunity. I used to just give anybody an opportunity. And I would think, hey, they're either going to make it or they're not going to make it. But that started putting out the potential to have a bad reflection on the business. Even if somebody only goes to one job ever, that one customer, if they don't have a great experience with somebody that's of sound integrity, they can tell their friends. So I'm very, very careful about who I hire. So whereas I used to, like I said, hire people and give them chances, now I really go out looking for specific people myself.
So if I understand well, you establish a relationship with people for some time before you start pitching them working for you. Isn't there a downside to hiring this way?
I guess there is and there isn't. So short term, yes, there can be a downside to it. For instance, right now, if we're doing 10 houses a day, we could probably be doing 20 houses a day. I have that capability, but we don't have the manpower to do it. Now, if I hire people short term, I might be able to get more jobs right now, but when you have an employee that isn't reliable or responsible, A, you don't know how many customers you're going to lose, and B, you don't know if they're going to be at work the next day. So that could throw a huge monkey wrench in your operations long term. So long term, my employees that are out there in the field are getting just as many 5-star reviews as I am. And that's what I want, is people that can build a strong foundation in the business, because if the foundation is strong enough, then the business will grow very quickly. If the foundation is weak, you might have some growth, but then it'll just crumble quickly.
Basically, you avoid hiring people using classifieds or Craigslist or even the regular job platforms, the marketplaces. So give us a specific example how you met one of your employees and how you fostered a relationship with that person.
Okay, so I don't rule anybody out, because some people say window cleaning, like this guy's not going to want to be a window cleaner, And I'll give you an example. I go to a gentleman. I go to church with a gentleman who used to be in federal law enforcement, and I just overheard him saying that he had just retired after 27 years in federal law enforcement, and he was at a very, very high level, making a good income, had a great career, great retirement. And, it was a shot in the dark to me, but I had already experienced this gentleman, had numerous conversations with him, gotten to know him, gotten to know his family, his son. I believe the fruit tells a lot about the parent, so his son is a great kid. And knowing that, I just asked him if he was open to extra opportunity, since he was now newly retired, and he jumped at the chance. Many people were surprised, and they say, "How did you get him to work for you? How did you convince him?" I said, "I didn't. I just asked him."
If you were to rewrite the history of your hiring policy, what would you change?
I wouldn't change anything. To change something would imply that I fear failure or risks, and really, you have to go through that process. Every business owner's got to hire a knucklehead. It's going to happen, and you have to understand that, and you learn from it. You don't blame that person. Instead, you refine your own process so you don't run into that situation again. Hopefully, you can't prevent those mistakes, but I'm happy with my progression. There was times I hired people and I shouldn't have hired somebody. There's times I needed to hire people and I didn't. Those mistakes were made, but they actually have. That's what's been able to hone my, my recruiting strategy or hiring strategy. I was able to hone it through mistakes.
All right. So let me ask you a personal question now. Why did you choose to go in business and continued on that road despite the challenges, the aggravation, the government rules, the red tape, etc.?
Well, I love the opportunity to be in control of my own income. When I had a job, I didn't like the fact that my boss, it was up to him or her whether I got a promotion or whether I got a raise. When the economy crashed, I was working a commission job, which I had a little control in, but I realized I still didn't have control because my income still disappeared. So I was really looking for stability and security. And while a lot of people think that going into business is a risk, I don't think it's a risk at all. The only thing that's a risk is whether or not you decide to work. And if I had anything, it was work ethic. So I knew that I could make it work. It's just a matter of eyeballs seeing the business. And I knew I could make it work. And when I realized that, I felt the security and the comfort even before I was making good money to support my family and provide for the church and the community.
So you have a personal mission beyond the satisfaction of being in business for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I love providing opportunity. To be honest with you, I love providing the service of window cleaning. We go into people's houses and we meet some of the most incredible people. I meet all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds, from teachers to big business owners to Major League Baseball players. I mean, I've met so many kinds of people. And I love that, providing that service to the community, but I also love giving to my church and to be helping people around me, as well as giving opportunities where somebody can come and work with me and genuinely be in a better position than they were at before.
We're coming to the end of this podcast, and I have another question for you. What is the single most important thing that differentiates Brighter Days Window Cleaning from your competitors?
I would say overall consistency. Consistency in our quality, consistency in showing up on time. You can, if you went online and searched us, you'll see through different sources probably about 100 reviews. And the quality of service, the value for your money, and the timeliness are the things that separate us the most. As well as, like I said, the people that work with us. We have the utmost character because we were hand-picking people as we built this, and duplicating the process as they're being trained. So each person working in Brighter Days, you're going to get the same experience no matter who comes.
We discussed that before the interview. We talked about having a training manual covering your operating procedures. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, I typed up, this was only in the last couple of years, I typed up a employee manual, and it covers all the bases step by step of what is expected and what will happen as you go through any job that we can have. And what we also do is we train with people. So somebody that gets started is going to work immediately with myself. And then when they start to begin to get a little more freedom, then they can start leading on the job. And then once they're able to do stuff confidently, then they're going to be able to go and do jobs on their own. At which point they'll get compensated even better for it.
So that's part of your hiring policy and your HR policies.
Oh yeah.
To hire the right people, but then to train them thoroughly into the job.
Yeah. How do we, not just how you clean a window, but how do you talk to a customer? How do you behave? When is it appropriate to answer your cell phone? Or what kind of behavior is appropriate and not appropriate on somebody else's property? We cover all these things, even though they might be common sense. We still cover our bases because a customer may not remember exactly how clean their window was, but they will experience how you made them feel when you came over. So we want that experience to be top notch because that's why customers will keep coming back. It's how they feel about you.